So now let's just have a recap of what we have studied on our previous discussion. First on the list is the definition of pretensioning, and we had seen that we have seen that pretensioning is tensioning the tendon prior to casting the section. So the keyword there is prior to casting. So for pretensioning, tensioning is done prior to casting. While for post-tensioning, tensioning the tendon after the concrete has been cast and has achieved the major portion of its strength. So the keyword is tensioning after the concrete has been cast. So for pre-tensioning, before, or prior, so tensioning is done prior to casting. For post-tensioning, post meaning after, tensioning is done after the concrete has been casted and achieved its major portion of its strength. Another thing we have studied is about jacking systems, which are the manner in which the pre-stressing force is transferred to the steel tendons or to the pre-stressing reinforcement. So we have two ways of jacking. You can jack uh, the pre-stressing reinforcements individually or simultaneous. Next is all about concrete. So we have seen that concrete is a major constituent of all pre-stressed concrete elements, hence its strength and long-term endurance have to be achieved through proper quality control and quality assurance at the production stage. So we have seen that concrete is a very vital element or vital material that is being used on pre-stressed concrete elements. So uh, we must assure or ensure that its strength and long-term endurance can be achieved. So we must ensure that its strength and long-term endurance can be achieved. And in order for us to achieve those, so we must be very strict on the production of concretes. So we must uh, have a proper quality control and quality assurance on the production of concrete to make sure that strength and long-term endurance can be achieved. So there are the different properties of hardened concrete that we have studied as well, which are divided into two categories. The first one is the short-term or instantaneous properties, which are the strength in compression or compressive strength, the tensile strength, shear strength, and the stiffness, which is measured by modulus of elasticity. And the other category is the long-term properties, which are the creep and the shrinkage. So for the short-term or instantaneous properties, these are the properties of hardened concrete that can be easily be seen uh, after the concrete hardened, while the long-term properties can be seen after, after some time, after the concrete hardened. So again, short-term or instantaneous can be seen uh, uh, immediately after the concrete hardens, while for the long term, you have to wait for some period of time for these properties to manifest. Another thing we have studied last meeting was about non-pre-stressing reinforcements, uh, which consists of bars, wires, and welded wire fabric, all of which are manufactured in accordance with ASTM standard. So we can use these things, bars, wires, and welded wire fabric as non-pre-stressing reinforcements or simply steel reinforcements. So the properties of those reinforcing steel are the Young's modulus or modulus of elasticity, the yield strength, the ultimate strength, the steel grade designation, and the size or diameter of the wire or bar. Last thing we have studied last meeting are the different types of pre-stressing reinforcement, which are commonly used in the industry, which are uncoated stress relief or low relaxation wires, uncoated stress relief strands and low relaxation strands, and uncoated high strength steel bars. So in general, we usually use wires, strands, or bars as pre-stressing reinforcement. So now, for our intended learning outcome for this discussion, first is to understand the basic concept method of designing pre-stressed concrete elements, and then understand the C-line method of designing pre-stressed concrete elements, and lastly, to understand the load balancing method of designing pre-stressed concrete elements. So these are actually different methods that we can use to design pre-stressed concrete elements. So without further ado, let us address our first goal, which is to understand the basic concept method of designing pre-stressed concrete elements.